Okay, good morning, good afternoon from everywhere you are listening to us. My name is Odison Aluko Adiola, and then I will be your facilitator for the School Growth webinar, the 3.0. Uh, in this webinar, I have just a singular duty, and my duty is to help you see some of the things you can do as a school so that you can become the first choice in your community. And of course, in this lesson or in this webinar, we are going to be looking at um, what you are going to learn. We are going to live here with a roadmap for transforming your school into preferred choice for parents rather than compete on fees. The truth is that most schools are still existing, or they are being valued based on based on the school fees they pay. And then most parents are still comparing them to other schools because they pay less, and probably because they allow for a lot of uh, deductions and the likes. That's not this kind of school you should become. You should become a school where you become the first choice, not because of uh, payment, but because of the value that you want to give. So you are going to be working away with roadmap to become your community preferred school. You're going to have tools to diagnose your school's competitive position, and then you're going to have 8 proven strategies used by high growth schools across Africa. And that's what we are going to be looking at today. Um, let's take an interesting view of now. The first thing we need to know is that more parents are likely to recommend your school. Parents are likely to recommend your school when they have experience. I usually tell school owners that experience is one of the most important things. So it is not only about the fees, it is about the experience you can create for your student, for your parent and the student and the whole community. Uh, when parents feel like two partners, when they see the school as a family and they not see themselves as a customer alone, you are likely uh, to retain them, and they are likely to become your number one fan, number one referral system. So what we want to learn in this um, webinar is to simply look at some of the things that can help you become that. Um, the school business is now a very competitive business, and as such, you must develop a strong competitive advantage. The first thing I usually tell school owners to start with is, if you want to know the level at which you are, I usually say that write out how many schools between 5 kilometers to your school, how many schools are present. And if you are going to rate, view yourself as an outsider based on reputation, based on quality, based on brand positioning, based on outcome, based on uh, other metrics. How do you rate your school vis-a-vis those schools? So one of the things I ask school owners to do is to list 5 schools within 5 kilometers. So when you list 5 schools between 5 kilometers, those are your topmost competitors. And then the next thing you need to do is to highlight what is unique about each of those schools that is making them preferred. Again, don't forget that running a school is predominantly business. There is a business aspect of school. there is a community development or impact of school. So it is two-way thing. Your first purpose is starting a school is to make a profit. Your second purpose is to give back to the community and to build lives. While you are in the business of building lives, you must also understand that you are in business to make profit. And then to make profit, you must understand your numbers. Then to understand your numbers, you must understand how the numbers come to be and who are competing for the numbers that you desire. Of course, when we talk about numbers now, you're talking about the number of students, the number of staff, the number of campuses, the number of parents, the number of partnerships, the number of collaborators, and so on. So, in school business, your first point of call is numbers. Your first point of call is numbers. So, it is important that you understand this as a school owner. So when you understand that numbers is important, the next thing you want to look at is how do you make your school the first choice so that every single time your numbers can be high. You must grow the numbers, you must scale the numbers, you must sustain the numbers. The numbers must grow, must scale, and must be sustained. I call it the GSS. So while you are doing that, your major point or your major goal, therefore, is to ensure that your school become the first choice. That when they are talking about school in the community, and that's the goal of this webinar, how to make your school number one in your community. Like I usually tell school owners, there are 5 levels of influence that every school will find themselves. Number one is the community level influence. And that's the first sphere of influence. Every school must operate in these 5 spheres of influence, and the lowest of it is the community, and that is where you have to start with. You cannot say you want to be the best school in the state when you have not even been the best school in your community. So from your community to your state, from your state to the country, from the country to the continent, from the continent to the globe. That means that the first thing you need to do is to start from your community. When they say the best school or one of the top schools in this community, they should be able to reckon with your school, and that's determined by the perceived competitive advantage that you have. And then, of course, this can be measured, this can be determined, this is known. And that is what we want to do. So, one of the things we are going to do is to look at reality check and diagnosis. We look at where are you today. So, because you have to know where you are to be able to decide where to go. You must be able to know where you are to decide where to go. So we look at the diagnosis, then we look at what gives you a competitive edge. We look at the strategic areas you must strengthen. And of course, you look at strategies to become the top choice school. And now let's look at a reality check where you are. And one of the things that every school owner must put in place is that you must be able to determine at the end of every year where your school is currently. You must be able to determine where your school is currently. And how do you do that? You run what is called a diagnosis test. And this is one of the things that really helps schools to know what is, what will be, and what is to come. So again, may I tell you that no matter it is possible you have the best of facilities, it is possible you have the best of teachers, and in fact, it is possible you give the best of quality, and then you still struggle in terms of numbers. So numbers is not only a function of quality staff or facilities, it is a function of perceived value. how people perceive your school. The perception of the value that you give usually determines those that you attract. So it is important that you pay emphasis on holistic view, not just one side. Now, I give a real life scenario, and that was what I experienced when the school owner reached out, and the school was a mid-sized school, basically in Ghana. Their results have always been fine, but they observed that enrollment was reducing despite very good results in WAEC, and the enrollment was decreasing. And how do you know that? They did one of the things I asked them to do was to do like a reality check that I discussed the other time, and then we run a diagnosis there for the school. We look at numbers in 2022. How many people enrolled? How many people left the school? How many number of inquiries do they have per week, per month, per year? And then we observed a general trend. Result was consistently good between 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. But enrollment constantly decreased. But they did around 45 in 2022. And then by 2025, it has reduced to about 32, thereabout. And then the most painful part is that despite the fact that the enrollment was decreasing, the number of people that were leaving was also decreasing. And again, they still maintain those staff. And so that was what made the school now to look at what could have been the major issue that happened. And then a look at a whole view, because we have to start with what is the parent journey. I designed a parent journey for them, and then they look at from awareness to inquiry to experience to decision making and to retention. So we looked at that journey, and then we observed that where the issue were in terms of the enrollment was in the communication. The awareness was a bit weak in the sense that they do not talk about some of the things that they do enough. So most people do not know a lot of things that they are doing. But more importantly is that some persons that are even getting by referral, some persons that are getting the information by referral, uh, when they make inquiry, it takes sometimes 3 days, 4 days for them to get feedback. So the communication system was very poor. The same thing was happening to the communication with the parents. Most of the parents, because we ran a survey with the parents, and then we found out that the communication system was weak. They only communicate with parents when there is an emergency. And then so there was a bit of distance. Parents complained that they were not getting real-time feedback from the school about their children. And sometimes the school is more concerned about passing exams than the overall development of students and a whole lot. And then one of the things we need to set up was that we need to set up a parent development system, a parent communication system, where we now begin to put structure in place. We did SOP, standard operating system. When a parent say this, how do you respond? When there is an inquiry, once there is an inquiry, in less than 1 hour, there must be somebody that responds, and this is how the person responds. After 1 hour, 4 hours, 10 hours, 24 hours, then till the parent converts. So we set up all those systems, and then by the end of this session, I was told that the enrollment increased to 109 in just 1 year. What does that have to tell us is that if they had not taken time to evaluate, they may still be wallowing in that problem for a long time. Now, this is where it gets interesting. One of the things you need to know is that if you want to increase your numbers, if you want to increase your numbers, you must understand that you must understand why parents choose one school over another. Okay, I think I can see somebody here, Mrs. Deborah. Good morning. I think you are from Uganda, right? Are you from Uganda? I guess people have not, they didn't know that we have started. And one of the things I do is that I don't wait at all. Once I start, I start. Okay, are you from Uganda? Good
Yes,
morning.
I'm from you. Good. It's afternoon here. Good afternoon.
Oh, okay. Good afternoon.
Yes.
Hope you are fine. How is Uganda
Yeah.
today?
We are. The weather is fine. It's been raining.
Yes, I understand that that it is for most countries. The weather here is also not. So we started, and then
Okay.
I know you are a owner of a school, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Kindergarten.
I have started with a scenario. We have looked at the importance of first running a diagnosis. It is important to run a diagnosis of your school. I did a diagnosis test. I dropped a document in the what's it called that you can work with. You as a school owner, you must know where your school stands at the moment. It is important to run those analyses so that you get a feel of what is wrong and what is right. Like I have also maintained that um, the first thing as a school, you must know that every school there is a sphere of influence from community to province or county to state or regions to country to continent and the world. That is the sphere of influence for every school. But the truth of the matter is, you can't start from international. You must start from the local where you are. So the importance of this meeting is basically on how to become the first choice school in your community, starting with. And I've said that and the first thing to do in knowing that is to identify your major competitors. I said if you walk 5 kilometers between your school and the next, you must be able to pick at least 5 schools that are doing so well, and then you must be able to know which area they are doing well, and that's their competitive advantage. So it is that competitive advantage that gives you edge to also sit down and say, how can my school become the first choice school in this place? And I said that it is important for school owners to run diagnosis tests every session, every year, to know where they stand and where they want to be in the following year. And I said there's something called the internal competitive advantage and the external competitive advantage. What competitive advantage is just what makes you better than the other. And then for the internal, we are talking about your teacher quality. I dropped the information on the group that we should run that test. We talk about teacher quality, your school culture, your leadership culture, your innovation, your strong system, and so on. But more importantly, is your external, because in internal we retain, external we enroll. It is the internal qualities, internal competitive advantage that makes people to stay. The internal competitive advantage will make people to stay when they have come in. But the external is what will make people to come. It's because that's what people are seeing outside. And that's why it is possible that you are, and that's one of the things that happen to schools. It is possible that you are able to attract a lot of you are able to attract a lot of um, people to your school and not able to retain them. 50 people can come to your school in a year, and at the end of the year, about 40 people would have left. Why? You have a problem with your internal competitive advantage, which will make people to stay when they come in. But for the external, and then both of them must be structured such that, because if you do not structure the external, people will not see your school and they will not come. So it is important that you are able to do that. And that, so what is your external advantage? Number one is your strong brand reputation. How is your reputation in your local community? How strong is your reputation? Then how well does parents trust you? Then community. How many persons, if you take a survey today, if you have 500 people in your community, how many people know about your school in that your community? Then another one is your partnerships. Your partnerships and I call it partnerships and program. How many organizations are you partnering with? We'll get there very soon. How many organizations are you partnering with? Then what is your digital presence? Is it active? Do you have credible online footprint? Can people trace it to social media? Do you have a website? Do you communicate via mail? If people type you on Google, will you be able to see your school and so on? Then what is your alumni success? How well are your products doing? Whether those that have left for secondary school or those that have left for university, how well did they get admission when they enter school? Then if a school that has been operating for long, your student, what have they become in life? All of these things are what culminates that give a school advantage over another. For instance, you can flip this coin and ask yourself, if you are a parent and then you have two schools, if you have two schools, school A, they have a very good alumni. School A have very good alumni body where some of their past students have they are now top government functionaries. Some of their past students are also they are doing well. Some of their past students are doing well, and then they have they have a strong reputation. They have community impact. If you can trace 2-3 major things within the community to them, they are giving back to the parents. They usually organize parent program, and they are giving back to the community as well. Their students organize community impact projects. They are known in the community. Their alumni are doing well. They are seen online. They are winning competitions. They are passing exams, external exams. They are winning competitions and so on. Then you have another school. Although they have quality education, they are teaching students well, but all of these are not in place. As a parent, you understand that what you are going to pick, you are likely going to be the first school. Why? Because of both, especially the external competitive advantage. Because you want your own children to also have the same success story that others are having. And that is how you must think, that there is a psychology of parent job. We call it the psychology of parent journey. How parent gets to find, be, and become part of your school. How parents find, they be, and they become part of your school. So there is a psychology towards it, and that is the first thing you need to know. Don't forget, our focus for this webinar is very simple. I've said that schools operate in 5 spheres. The lowest of them is the community, and that's one of the things that most school owners do not pay attention to. You can't be a top school in the whole of your country. You can't be one of the top schools in the country or in your even province when you have not been the top school in your community. So you must start from the lowest. Then from there, after you give yourself like 2 to 3 years, from there, after 3 years, you now say, I want to become the top school in the States. Then from there, you move it on. And that's how to build that journey. So our major focus for this is your community. And then I said that in that community, you have, what's it called? You have competition. And that competition is, you can identify 3 to 5 schools that are within the 5 kilometers of your school and are doing well. And I said the first thing to do is to write out those schools and what they are doing that is unique. And then you also write out what you are also doing that is also unique. You now measure. If I am a parent And these are the available data, are the available choices. Which one will I pick? And that is why you now begin to work on how to build your own competitive advantage so that you can increase your own numbers. And like I said school business is two-faced, is dual. Number one, a school is a business entity. That's the first thing you should know. A school is a business entity. Your primary goal, like I said, is as a business, from the business angle now, your primary goal is to make profit. And that's the truth. And that's how you have to treat it. Then the second thing is that a school is also an impact entity to give back to the society and build the future, to build the nation. And in that place, your goal is to give quality education that prepare those children for the future. Those two things are very important. One must be on the right-hand side, the second must be on the left-hand side, and both must be balanced. If you are giving quality education and you are not running a good business, you are going to be frustrated. So it is important that you balance both. While you are giving quality education, you must also make profit. And then to make profit, it's a game of number. I call it the game of number. The more your numbers, the more your profit. And then how do you build numbers? It is by attracting the right set of people to your school. And then how do you attract them? Is by the advantage that you have over others. When people will not say, have every available data that I think this school is better than this one's, let me choose this school. So we are now on the second one that talks about why parents choose one school over another. Why parents choose one school over another. Number one is awareness. People only align with what they are aware of. People only align with what they are aware of. And so one of the work a school owner must do is to find a leverage where people are aware about your school. A parent will decide based on the available data. A parent will decide based on the available data, based on how they know the school. So the first question you should ask is that, how many people know about my school? How many people have heard about my school? And then, so how do you increase that awareness? Word of mouth, referral system, then social media, then your signages. As a matter of fact, you must have signages, billboards and the likes in strategic areas. And then your social media presence must be strong. And then the way the algorithm of social media works is that if I am in a particular place and a particular school is doing a lot of, they are popping up, because I'm in that local environment, I'm likely going to see those schools more when they post, because that's my first environment. So that's how so the more you show up, the more people get to know about you. So, and that's why I tell school owners, don't hide that quality. Yes, we know that you want to give quality education, but it is not in your place to hide it. If you hide it, people will not be aware of what you are doing. And that is the first stage is awareness. There cannot be inquiry when there is no awareness. So when you develop strategies to ensure that your school, people get to know about your school more, we will talk about some of the strategies to also use. The second thing is that they will start now making inquiry. And then don't forget that when they are making inquiry, there are a lot of contacts. And that is one of the problems. Some schools, they have a lot of awareness. There is a lot of awareness. People know and hear a lot about them. But the problem they have is not the awareness. The problem they have is that by the time people start to make inquiries about them, they are nowhere to be found. I ran a test for a particular school. The school owner was she was trying to how do I put it? She was trying to be to argue. She employed me to consult for her to look at what the problem is, and then she said, fortunately, I told her that well, the school is very popular, and the school is doing well, but there is still a problem, and then I taught her about this journey, so she passed the awareness stage. Now we now find out, and I said I didn't tell her because if I had told her, she would have. If I had told her, she would have made a lot of preparation. She would have made a lot of it. So I did a test. I didn't tell her. I said I asked the parents to reach out to her. So a parent reached out to her, and then when they reached out to her, when they reached out to her.
Recording in progress.
Okay, sorry. When they reached out to her, like I was saying, by the time they find out about the school, I think they reached out around Thursday, if I can remember very well. They got response about around Wednesday. They got the response around Wednesday, and I told her this could be one of the major problems. It was my network. Sorry, the rain was a bit is a bit. Oh, okay. Okay, so as I was saying, so I told her then that, ma'am, if you want to hear the truth from me, the truth is that at the inquiry stage, your school is faltering, and which is a problem. This step two is where you create an impression. By awareness, anybody can create awareness. If your school is on social media platforms, like I've said the other time, if you are visible enough, if you are doing something that are tangible and so on, it is possible your school um, get a lot of awareness around this point. So most people will say okay, it's fine. Let's make an inquiry, and that's why one of the insights I give here is that most schools will now invest heavily in step one, but usually lose parents at step two and step three due to slow responses and weak campus experience. And this is where the problem usually is. For instance, help me make it make sense. If I call your school that I want my what was it called my I want to make inquiry about your school, and then I did not get response till after 3 or 4 days. What you have done there is to give an impression. You have given an impression about how your school is. And that impression, most people withdraw almost immediately. So you must understand the psychology of parent decision making. Awareness is good. Like I said, invest in awareness, but systems must be in place for inquiry. And I usually tell school owners, all of this must be systemized. If you have the story I was talking about, that woman, when we now identified, the issue, one of the things we now have to do is that we set up an admission team, about 3 or 4 persons. Somebody was in charge, 5. They were 5 team. Somebody were in charge of number 1, the awareness. That person was in charge of ensuring that they have social media content. They are listed on Google Business. They talk about the school. So I gave them a social media content plan where they can design what's it called. So they were following it. So they post at 3 to 4 times. And then I told them, start attending competitions. We design competitions. Then start talking about the classroom experience. When a teacher is teaching the class, interestingly enough, they have some level of facilities. I said, start showing up and tell people how your classroom experience is. Then sometimes do how parents are coming in, get feedback from parents, get reviews from students. Then I told them, go to your alumni. Your alumni, those that are in the university, those that are in secondary. Please, as you come in, kindly mute yourselves so that we can enjoy the. So go to the universities, go to secondary school. Some of your students that are doing well, get the feedback from them. So at this point, and then I said every single time on what is called impact stories. Somebody that was not able to read and started reading, let people know about what you do. Then in the community, organized community program, parent summit for members of the community. Let parents come and learn. From there, introduce your school. Then let your students do community impact day, where they are going to do a lot of things. They can clean the gutters, they can do a lot of things, so that you have a strong presence in your community. So they worked on this. And I said, no matter how number 1 is strong, if number 2 and 3 is not strong, it's still a wasted effort. And that is why we now put somebody in charge of inquiries. So we now have what is called the admission committee, like I've said. So inquiry officer. And I said, and I designed what is called an SOP, standard of operations. For the standard of operations, what I did was that when the parents say, hey, this is how you answer. And then we agreed that we design a system where once they give a feedback, there's a dedicated line for that inquiry. So once they give, once you get an inquiry, you are obligated to respond in less than 1 hour. It becomes a standard in the school. You are obligated to respond in less than 1 hour. So when you respond in 1 hour, one of the things you tell those people that these people are serious. For instance, let's assume you want to buy goods from me, and then you message me, and I did not respond to you in 2 days. I am very sure that you would have gone to another person, no matter how good my product is. And that is why some persons will say, but we are investing in awareness a lot. People know about us. It is not enough for people to know about you in your community. And let me say this: if people don't know about you, you have to start working on it. This journey must be complete. So, and I said, and once they make inquiry, 1 hour you respond. After 7 hours, you respond again and say, I hope our response was good. We designed that. Then after 24 hours, you respond again. You send a message again. Now, let's look at it in our mind that I'm a parent. And in the space of 24 hours, a particular school has reached out to me 4 times. In fact, one of the things you would have done for me is that I begin to think. So we still have schools that I can do this. So you have given me a reason to think and think. And I said, immediately after the inquiry, let's move on to experience. I'm sharing a practical example so we can see. I'm talking about a school I worked with and what we did. So I said immediately you get feedback from the parent. Next thing, invite them for an experience, because inquiry will build the foundation, but it's the experience that will turn it over, that will turn it in. People don't make decision based on what you say alone. They usually make decision based on what you show. So, and then in the context of what's it called? What they see online might not be enough. Online is good. I have said part one. I've sort of noticed. We have talked about that. It's good, but there's a Yoruba balance that will say that what I see with my neck, with my hair like this, is better than what I hear. A Yoruba balance will say that. In Nigeria, for those that are not in Nigeria, Mrs. What's it called? That's Nigerian balance. That what I see with my hair like this is better than what I hear or what people tell me. So the next thing in that what's it called is to call them for experience. Let them come and see for themselves how your school is, how you teach. You can just take them to one of your classes and let them experience how students are learning. And that's, I have said this the other time, that we have what is called internal competitive advantage and external competitive advantage. For those that are just joining, we have covered some very good ground. For your internal competitive advantage, that's what will make people to stay. It is not enough for you to bring people in. Like I said, we are looking at holistic view. It is not enough for you to bring people in. When you bring them in, what will make them stay is that your internal community, and that's has to do with quality teaching and all of those things. So you bring them in, let them come and experience. And then if peradventure you have good facilities and some of what you call good and fine, if you do not have, let them see your teaching. Let them see some of the programs that you do, apart from some of the things they have seen online. Let them meet with your school experience officer. Now, we have moved from inquiry to school experience. And then, fortunately for the woman I'm talking about currently, that I'm using as an example, I think the staff strength was around 16 thereabout, if I can remember very well. And then, so what we did was that we set up about for a start, because that was our major target. Our target was competitive advantage, system, structure, and enrollment. So I said, once the number starts increasing, we need to increase the number of teachers. So we set about 4 to 5 persons on that enrollment and journey. Others we are handling. So each teacher has one specific duty outside the classroom that they were doing in terms of the running the school. So the experience officer now also have what is called the SOP, standard operating system, operating procedure, where if a parent, when you are going to take a parent, you take a picture, take a video, look at it, analyze. But by the time they come in, and then we also ensure that the person at the gate, there's something when the parent comes in, the first thing you are going to say, the person has been trained to know it must be, the journey must be intentionally designed. Things don't happen by accident. If you want to see the real good, you must design it intentionally. So what the gate man will say, and then when the desk officer, what the person will say, will design everything, and then how they are going to interact with the parent and the child that they want to bring, different. Or what they will say, if they bring the child, if there are 3 people, how they're going to interact with each of them. So by the time they now go, they look at the environment, they look at the classroom and the likes. By that time, you have moved them from doubters to believers. But again, by human nature, people don't usually make final decision at that point. Why? Because you yourself put yourself in the position of parent now. You want to also say, but I also heard, and that is why I mentioned that look at 5 kilometers within your community. Look at how many schools are top performers. Identify 3 to 5 schools in your community that are top performers. Look at their competitive advantage. Study it. So most of the parents will, after that point, one of the things they want to do is that they will now begin to compare. So in that part, for that woman, our school was secondary and primary, so she had secondary, but the primary was doing so well. But that primary has one competitor that is very close by. So most of the time, when people want to decide, they look at both, and then often time, because the second school is for the person is only doing primary, he was not doing secondary at all, and the person has been running primary for over 30 years, a very strong primary school. So I told her that that this is a real competition. The secondary was they didn't have a lot of issues with that, but the primary they were having a lot of because of. And I said, let's study. Look at what these persons are doing. So by the time people move from experience, the next thing is to compare. Now, when they are comparing, they are not comparing in fees alone, and that is where most school owners usually get it wrong. In fact, may I tell you in all sincerity that fee is the tertiary consideration as far as parent is concerned, and I'm telling you this for free. Interestingly enough, I run what's it called too? I run an evening school, and I understand there was a time when we started, I was looking at fee, but it got to a point when we started producing results. The experience was so great. I did not look at fee again because by that time I increased it. My school, my center, my section, my place was the highest in terms of tuition fee, but people still come. That is why I actually it's tertiary. Of course, they may consider, but the first thing they consider in most cases is the assurance that will my child do well if he comes here. Go and find out from your research, from your experience. The first thing a parent will consider is not usually the fee. In fact, I have seen parents gone to borrow money, gone to do a lot of things just to ensure that a particular student go to a particular school. In fact, a parent later on, after we have put a lot of things in place in that school, a parent told us, because I told them, one of the things we are going to start attracting top parents. They started attracting top parents. People that are lecturers, university lecturer, professors, started bringing their children to that school. So we parent confided, by the time I was going for a consulting session in the school, a parent said that one of the things that makes her to bring the what's it called, apart from the quality of education that they give, and is that she wants the daughter to form a very strong alliance with others, because she understands that alliance go a long way in your life. May I tell you the truth? I've interviewed a school owner before. The school is in Ibadan. If not the best, is the most top school in Ibadan currently. I won't mention what's it called, the name of the school. And then one of the things that the man confided in me that is really helping the school is that you have top politicians, top business people going to that school. And most parents, because of the propensity, and that's why we call it strategic alignment. Because some of the parents understand that if I can bring my children to this school, they are going to form an alignment with the daughter of this person, the son of this person. That alignment could be a leverage for them in the future. That's one of the things parents are looking at now, not your fee. In fact, if you observe very well now, that especially parents of nowadays, they make a lot of research. Gone are the days where in our own time, our parents they don't care. They just want you to go to school, especially the ones that are very close, so that you can walk go, walk home. That's their concern. But parents of nowadays, the focus is mainly on what becomes of this child as a result of going to this school. And that is why you must design very well how your school. So I do tell school that, but some people will not say, money. I said money is a tertiary. In all sincerity, the first thing is what value. Number two, what future. Then what fee. The value first. For instance, I have a strong relationship with. Let me mention this school. The Ambassadors College. Um, um, they have a niche that everybody knows, and that niche is competition and global experience. Competition and a global experience. That's their selling point. That's their unique selling point. So one of the things that parents will take their child is that if a particular parent is working in a big company around that place, the first thing the parent wants to look at is that can my child also have opportunity to compete both locally and internationally? Can he or she have this experience of? So that's some of the things. So if you're not for that kind of parent, they are not looking at the money, they are looking at the prospect, the value they are going to get for enrolling that child to the school. They are also looking at the future. What kind of friends will he or she meet? What kind of people are they going to be? So we call it strategic alignment. And that's one of the major things. And then for a school that is just coming, you can also build that. So they will compare your school with another school. That's the journey. Then the last thing that at the last stage is the decision making. In that decision making, may I tell you for free that in most cases, if those parents bring their child when they were coming, if they bring their children when they were coming to make for this part 3, this experience, if they bring their child, in most cases, the experience that child has will likely going to be, and the final decision of that child will likely going to be the what's it called? The final decision of the parents. In most cases, why? Because decisions like this are more emotional than logical. They start with emotion first. The way you make the child feel, what he or she sees, and those kind of things will usually determine whether they will still want to what's it called or not. So at that point, designing occurs that when you are at this experience stage, you prepare, you design for the parent what experience you want the parent to have, what experience you want the children or the child that is coming to have. So it must be well designed. So these are the psychology of parent decision making. And as a school owner, if you want to be a first choice, you must work on these 5 phases. You must work on these 5 phases so that even at the long run, the parents will choose you. Now, let's move on. Now, how do you do a competitive a school competitive audit? Like I said the other time, you have what is called the internal audit and the external audit. The internal audit has to do with your leadership and vision, how you deliver your academic delivery, your parent experience, your brand and visibility, and your systems and structures. It is internal. And like I said, that's the thing that will make them to stay. That's what will make them to stay. For instance, if parents are not communicated well, like I said in the example, in the story of the school I mentioned the other time, on the long run, they feel isolated. So the experience of parents must be such that they are now become a part of the family. Parents are fully engaged. They get feedback over time and so on. So how do you conduct? So you must ask questions. And I sent all of us, please, can we do well to go into can we look at our? I sent a document on the platform for us to see. So you can use that sheet to what's it called, to run a competitive what's it called, for your school. You do an audit. In fact, this is the best time for you to start doing your audits. Like I said, for those that are just joining, the journey of your school, we call it a journey. The growth of your school is a journey, and that journey starts from the community to your regions or state, from your province or county, for countries that are from there to your country, from there to your continent, from there to the globe. So most schools now want to be the best in the whole state when they have not been the best in the community. So you must start. So our focus here is on the community. That's the first level of influence a school can have. And then you must intentionally set targets that in the next 5 years as a school, our school would have reached this, to be the top choice school. And then to do that, you must diagnose. And that's one of the issues I have with school owners, is that most decisions are usually based on what we see. There are deeper things than that. They are not coming to my school. That school is collecting students. No, sir, no, ma. The first thing is to run a diagnosis. If a person is sick, even when we are not sick, if you want to, whatever you cannot measure, you cannot go. Whatever you cannot measure, you cannot go. Whatever you cannot document, you cannot make happen. So measurement and evaluation is the first step to growth. You must sit down and take cognizance and measure and diagnose your school. How is it? So, like I said, you have internal competitive advantage. Like your leadership and quality is that clear vision. And then one of the things I tell, this is an advanced class now. One of the things I tell, what's it called, is that your parent experience must include a parent onboarding. I observe most of the schools, thank God, but later on when I start working with them, we start to correct a lot of things. Most of the schools I've worked with, in all sincerity, usually lack all of those things. We call it systems. They must be in place. When you are bringing a parent in and a student in, you must have parent onboarding and student onboarding. Parent onboarding in the sense that parents must understand your vision, your mission, your core values, the policies, and every other thing that they need to know. So they must have a clear, a pictorial view of how the school is. You must also share with them your goals and strategies for the next 2-3 years, so that they also understand where the school is going. In all sincerity, people cannot follow you when they don't know where they are going. And that's why parents will now start asking questions. Child school, they don't know what they are doing like this. I don't think I can continue with this school. Because they don't have an idea, a serious idea of where they are going. So it is your duty as a school owner to ensure that you have vision, you have mission, you have core values, you have strategic blueprints, you have all of those things in place that states that in the next 3 years, this is where your school is. So any parent that wants to be with you, understand that I actually understand where the school is going. So your leadership and vision is an internal. That's what makes parents to stay, not your teaching alone. Teaching may be good. In fact, as far as good as teaching quality is not only the major criteria that we measure school with now. No. Then the next thing is your teaching quality. Under internal structure, the next one is your school culture. I discuss culture as what they know you for, how they see you, how people know you for. Culture, the life of a school, the norms that people carry. I give an example. For those of us that are familiar with Japan as a country, let me just use that as a what's it called. One of their culture is the culture of cleanliness. People know them for that. If all of us have children that are into sport, that are watching football now, let me just use the recent one. When Japan, when they finished any football match, everybody in that stadium that is Japanese will clean the stadium. That's a culture. Nobody leaves until the stadium is clean. It's a culture. That's what they are known for. And they have done it over every period of time. It's not that they are just trying to camouflage, that they are just trying to camouflage people. No. They are known for cleanliness. Wherever a Japanese is, the next thing you must think about a Japanese is that cleanliness. That's a culture. So you must have a unique culture that when they say students of so school, this is what they are known for. This is what they are known for. It must be intentional. You must create it intentionally. Then the next thing is innovation and technology. And that is under internal advantage again. The willingness to try new methods and technologies. We are in a digital age now. The truth of the matter is, parents will start reconsidering your school when you are not taking advantage of technology. When there is no digital transformation in your school, they will start reconsidering. Because parents, like I told you, they are looking for value, they are looking at alignment, they are looking at the future. So in the future, they understand that their children must be tech savvy so that they can be relevant. And if the school that they claim that their children is going cannot provide that, they find another school. So all these are the student outcomes. I've talked about strong systems and student outcome. Like I've said the other time, student outcome. What becomes of this child when he leaves the school? Student also has to do with your external exam, how they are doing well, competitions, how the admission rates, whether to secondary school or to university, how well the students do after life. How many students, how many top people have you produced? Business professionals, leaders across board. In fact, may I tell you that one of the things that some schools are still benefiting for now is majorly because they have products that have become this, and this. You can attribute a particular set of particular persons to that particular school. Those are outcomes. Those are what makes people say, I prefer this school. This person graduated from this school, and this is what it is. That's what parents would look at, and all of us, that's what we are going to look at. So all of those must be, if you have that, you must tell that story. If you don't have it, you must intentionally design. So in the next 5 years, they can say, this person was a product of this school, and this is what he's doing now. Now, having said that, your external, that's how you run your diagnosis and look at all the leadership and put everything in place. For your external, when you are running diagnosis, the first thing is that who run a survey. Who and who know your school. You can. There was a consulting school that I told that I said, if you want to know how strong you are in this community, take a sample of 100 persons in the community. Just do like a souvenir, like a questionnaire, a page questionnaire. Then let appoint 1 or 2 staff. Of course, you tip them and let them go to the communities and talk about. Let's get feedback from the environment. How many people know you? How many people know what you do, what you stand for? How many people know your culture? What if they hear your school, what they usually remember, and all of this. So we crafted those questions, and they went. To their surprise, they only know their school because of the exams that they do alone. Most of the feedback, in fact, 50% said they know their school. Yes, in all sincerity, everybody, have you heard of the name of the school before? About more than 50 or 60% said yes. But so what do you now know the school for? They usually pass exam day. I said, that's a feedback. What do you want? These are the feedback we are expecting. So this is the notion, the perception they have about your school. And that's what you have seen. In some instances, some persons will say, we don't even know about your school. We've not heard about this school at all. So you know where you stand in the community. So by that time, you can measure whether you have community impact or not. Whether people, if people in your community don't know you, you have not started a school, sir. You have not started anything. If your target should be that 70 to 80% of people within that community know about your school. Run that test. Know where your school is standing. That's the first thing. Then know what your school is known for. That's reputation. Know what your school is known for. So let me encourage you. This holiday, run that test. Run the diagnosis and know where you stand within your community. Then the second thing is that under external, we look at parent trust. And so one of the things that we run when we did one of the things in the questionnaire was that we say, if you have money, that was the one. I remember it was one of the questions if you have money, will you bring your child to our school? We get what's it called? A feedback. About 80-something% said, no, I don't think so. You're only focused on the exam. I said, this explains why the enrollment has been reducing. Don't forget, for those that are just joining, I said that what you don't measure, you cannot improve. I said you must be able to trace your numbers. I said school is a two-way because I call it the duality of school nature. One, a school is a business entity. And in business, the most important is profit. And in profit, to know the profit, you must know your numbers. So unless you are running a charity, maybe you are running a charity. But if that is a business entity, and the primary goal of any business is profit. And to know profit, you must know numbers. How many staff do I have? How many parents are banking with me? How many persons live? How many persons stay? How many students do I have? How many of my graduates are doing well? How many of this? How many competitions have I go? How many exams have I passed? Numbers. Because it's that number that you can use to predict your profit. That if I have this social number, if 90% of people are gaining admission from my school, that means I'm likely to have 70 to 80% admission. We have 70 to 80% admission rate. Then retention rate will be around 90-something%. That's how to calculate. You are dealing with numbers. And then the second thing as a school is that a school is also a community entity, is impact entity, social impact entity, because you are giving back to the community, you are raising generations, you are building the nation, and so on. That is good. So as a business entity, your primary goal is profit. As a social entity, your primary goal is quality, because the quality and the economic viability of people that you are producing will determine how the nation will become. So all those two they are important, but we are looking at school as a business entity now, and to be able to see it as a business entity in that your community, your numbers are important. Your numbers are important. So when they started doing, I said you can see. I was even happy when we did that survey, and I told that school now that this is it. This is why this explains some of it. This is why you have been experiencing what you are experiencing. And I said, and I asked the question, how do we correct it? We are going to get there very soon. So another external, what's it called, is community reputation. I've mentioned it. How people see you in the community, how they know about you, and so on. Then apart from that, you have partnerships. Who is your school partnering with? And this is one of the strongest advantage that most schools don't have. I was discussing with a school owner, was it yesterday? Oh, I don't know, I can't remember. And then I said, sir, in all sincerity, your school is already big. But if you want to win competition, you want to be competitively strong in this state, because it's a very big school. I said, sir, the first thing you have to go and look at is your partnerships. Who are your school partnering with? Do you have partners at all? He said, what do I mean? I said, sir, if you are going to now edge that competition, people, education or school has gone beyond A for apple, B for ball, go and do exam, go to university. No. People are looking for what will become of this child when he leaves. They don't care. Most parents don't care how much they will spend. And that's one of the things I tell school owners. They don't care. What they are caring about is that what will become of this child so that all this investment will not go in vain. I said, look at the top schools. One of the things that they do is that I told a particular, I had a lady, very young lady, Bethany Elementary School, Grace Anufo. He partnered with Indomie. And then later on, I designed a partnership with a particular school. Now, I said, during this long back, let your children do virtual classes. There is no point taking them up and down. Let them do virtual classes. If they do virtual classes, let them have internships, especially the SS2, SS3, for instance, or the primary 6. Let them intern with top business owners, partner with businesses, and say, if a child want to be an accountant, for instance, is in commercial class, let that child go to an accounting firm, spend 4 to 5 weeks in an accounting firm, just doing and coming. The person has created what you have done for that person. You have reprogrammed the mind. By the time that kind of child is going to school, university, he or she already understand what it takes to be an accountant. He has a lot of edge over every other, and that's one of the problems most university students don't even have. So create internships, create mentorships. Partner with businesses, top businesses around you, whether it's primary or secondary school. Whether it's primary or secondary school, I'm saying this, especially for your primary 5, primary 6, SS2, SS3. Then, if you go to the top schools, this is one of the things that they do, sir. And that's why, if you are doing that kind of thing, what you are creating is that the kind of parents you begin to attract, they say, this particular school now is thinking differently. Now with organization, NGO, let them come and do program. Oh, there's partnership between so school and Indomie. So this one and this NGO to do this particular program. Then when you partner with those schools, you bring a lot of students, not only your student alone, supported by this particular what's it called. A lot of students, as they are coming in, what you are creating in that environment, you don't know yet. So a particular school can partner with this particular organization to do this particular program. Then they are partnering. They have top mentors that they are going to partnership. Then you observe that top schools again are now partnering with top industries. So let them go to industries, have industrial experience, partner with a particular industry and say, my student will be coming to this particular what's it called once in every session or term to spend 1 or 2 days in your company learning different departments. If you are in engineering department, go. If you are in accounting department, go. Partner with those organizations. Most organizations, because one of the things we are going to be experiencing that we have in education, there is a mismatch. Most of our students don't have any experience, industrial experience. By the time they start going self, you will tailor your own lesson to meet with the demands. Not abstract. They have learned about what a machine can do. Let them go and see a machine. Let them see it for real life. So, partner, when you begin to do that, what you are doing for your school is you are making your school to be highly competitive than every other school. Most big schools don't do this. But big schools that are really, really doing it, they have top percent one parent in their schools. I'm speaking from experiences. Now, and then programs as well. Signature programs. I know of a school now currently. A question, what if my school is not big up to that point? Start from somewhere, from small. It can't cost you anything. I'm talking about partnerships now. It can't cost you anything to say that, okay, like it's a small organization in my local environment, or it's not far from me. Can I partner with this? Or you identify small businesses. Let your children go and do internship there. You identify this company. Let them go and do. So this holiday, our school will be. Let's do that. This holiday, let your school let them be meeting virtually. You are inculcating digital transformation. Let them do virtual classes in the morning, maybe 8 to 9, and everybody goes to their where they are doing their internship. You can start with your SS2, SS3, primary 6. Let them go and learn industry knowledge. 4 weeks, and let them write their report. Parents will be happy. I know of a particular school that I've introduced that to. The parents are saying they have a logbook that they used to write. Now, what you have done for that child, you are not waiting till university. The person has already developed a strong influence, a strong intent for that particular course or for that particular endeavor. And then the earlier they are exposed, the better. They have a propensity to go further because they have been exposed earlier. That's what the Igbo people have over us. They expose their children earlier than we. Most of those children around 9, 10, they have experiences that most even adults in Africa doesn't have. So having said that, like I mentioned, signature program. So all of this, you must do a what's it called? An audit, diagnose your school. Having said that, let me quickly move. Now, there are 10 signs to see if you are losing relevance in your community. Number 1 is that your enrollment inquiries are declining, and that's a simple test to know that. Take your set up a committee and let them do a check. If you check very well, check 5 years from now, between 2021 to 2026, how many persons enrolled in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025? How many persons enrolled? How many persons left your school? And if you observe that, because like I said, if you don't take a measurement of all of these things, you won't know how to make proper decision. What you are going to do is to maintain the school and not to multiply it. You are a school now already, you have a school, you are making your school. But what you are doing currently now, you are maintaining your school. But it's go beyond that. If you want to be top in your community, you must multiply your school. And you multiply in numbers. So after that, there's another thing is that when you begin to hear parents say, my school, I'm bringing my children here because your fee is low, not that you are losing relevance. If there are a lot of, I had fortunately Dr. Adam England of Robbie School is one of the board members of my organization called African Schools Network. In our discussion, in one of our discussion, Robbie School currently pay, I think Charterhouse pay about 45 million per year or something. Robbie Schools pay around 40 million per year. And then in our discussion, we had a discussion on how, and then I made a findings myself as well. So in my findings, I realized that some parents is not because of the higher fee alone. It's because they understand that placing my child here alone gives my child leverage over others. There is a school a child will go to, the person is already leading his counterpart by 4-0. So when parents are now beginning to compare your own school because of fee, that's a problem. The fees should not be the problem. That means you are losing relevance. Number 3, when you have high staff turnover, every now and then staff are leaving. And then the morale is low. People are doing like this. They don't want to work. You are losing relevance. No clear identity. You are known for everything. In fact, you are not even known for, some schools are known for everything. Some are known for nothing. For instance, if you talk about, what's it called? Ambassadors College now, the first thing that comes to your mind is that they are competitors. They compete on everything competable. and they have global experience. Competition and global experience. That's their identity. In fact, I once spoke with Mr. Chris, one of their tutors, a chemistry tutor there. He was a private school winner of Ogun State. I don't know the year. In fact, they have a department for competition, and they have teachers who are dedicated for competitions only. Why? Because they have identified a specific area they want to be known for, their niche. In school business, there is a niche. You must niche. Do you want to be known for sport? Today, we have schools that are hobby is known for both sport, and because they build their children in sport, the hobby schools that are paying that amount. Sport is part of their world identity. So they want to combine sport and education. If that's what you want to be known for, if you are known for STEAM, there's another school, Total Academy or something like that. I can't remember their name. They are known for STEAM. That's this evergreen school. They are known for competition. If you are in the news currently on social media platform, you'll be hearing evergreen school. They have gone to Italy for global competition. They just came back this morning and again from England for another competition and so on. What they have done is that they have created identity. That if your child wants to have global experience, come to our school. That's what they are calling. So parents that want their child to have global experience, they will take their child to the school. They've created an identity. Then the next one, if you know you are one way to know you are losing relevance is weak or inconsistent social media presence. If I will ask a question now, and I want everybody to, if your school is on social media, can you please signify? If your school is on social media, now let's make it engaging. I've been talking a lot now, and so I want to take it so that I will start getting. The A started it, said we've not started it. These are just backgrounds. We are supposed to make it about 2-day webinar. Okay. Can everybody hear me? If your school is on social media and your social media, you have a social media presence. Let's not start with whether it's strong or not. If your school is on social media, please, not so much. Somebody saying not so much. That's a good feedback. I love that. Please, I want feedback. This is where we have feedback now. I want to be having our responses. If your school is on social media, this is not the essence of this is for you to see a lot of things that you might not have considered before. So nobody's castigating anybody. I work with a lot of schools, and these are my experiences, and this is what the essence of this webinar, just to help you see what you might not have seen before. If your school is on social media, can you let us know? If you don't want to, you can put it in the comment box. I intend to see. Yes, but not strong. Not yet. Okay. Please, I want feedback. Thank you for those feedback. I really appreciate. You are making me to enjoy the whole thing more. If your skills on social media, let me know. Okay. Now, one of the things that we talk about it when social media is the new oil well. Is the truth. And we call something digital footprint. I usually tell people there's a particular school I worked with. After we finished at the end of year one, because one of the things, if I work with a school, one of the things I do is to measure myself every year and see what we have achieved. We achieved, one of the things we achieved that really gladdens my heart. Although I told them there was a lot of things we should have achieved more. Was that people started bringing their children from outside that local government. They started getting children from other parts of the state, and 3 came from other parts of other states. I was glad. And then one of the things we did was that when we asked those people, they said they saw it online, how the teaching worked. They were happy. Now, I usually tell people can go as far as and of course, we are all witnesses to this. If you see quality somewhere, sometimes you won't mind. For instance, if you want to buy bag for women here, And then you see that this bag is quality. This bag is this bag is very, very good, and so on. If they say it's in Abuja and you're not in Abuja, you will order and you ask them to what? We bill. Why? Because you believe in that quality. And that's how the modern system is now. People can go as far as possible for them to get quality education. So what makes it like that is because of your presence and your footprint. I wanted to do a program. I'm doing a program this year for the African Schools Network, the School Summit Africa. And then one of our speakers this year is a former Minister for Education in Ghana. And then one is also a Global Teachers Prize winner. So when we restart, it took about, if I will not mind, so Peter Tabichi took around more than 3 years before he responded. And then he told me point blank that when he responded, the first thing he went to look at was my social media platform. I reached out to him on Facebook. So he checked my message for the past 1 month. They went to my LinkedIn to check what I was doing. I said, why? They said the person that they are going to align with must be people that they share the same thing and must be people that are making impact. That's his own philosophy. And that's what happens to any other person, any professional or any school. Most people will go and check what is your digital footprint. What have you done? How is the experience like in your school? So it is beyond you giving quality education. If people don't know you, you can't go far. If you see most people doing well, even as trainers, as consultants and the likes, it's one of the things we tell ourselves. If people don't see you doing well, you can't go far. Why? Because you may be dishing out quality, but if people don't know you, there's no way you are going to go far. It's where you want to go, it is people that will take you there. But if they don't know, how will they take you? So if you have weak or inconsistent social media presence is a problem, then your admission process is not organized. The call today is tomorrow that you are not answering. Then you not everything just look. People will I've seen it before. We now say, okay, did not say go and do exam. Later on they say you don't need to do exam again. And at one point we were confused. Okay, just tell us what you want to do. Like if the only thing that made us want to stay is because the parents were considering the distance because they just came to that place. But I heard the mother said after this time, once they are settled down, they are going to take the child away. I heard the parents say so because they knew that these ones are not organized. Go and pay, go and do this. Oh, don't do it again. Go and do this, don't do it again. They started getting confused. So then, when you have another way to know your school's sign is that when you have few parents embarrassed. If parents cannot, in fact, parents are your highest salesperson in the rank. Alumni stories are good, in all sincerity. Social media footprint is good, but if a parent cannot vouch for you and they are not bringing people to your school, then you are not making relevance. You are not making impact in the parent's life. It's just the truth. Your facilities, your signature, no signature program that parents can talk about, and I will talk about this very soon. Again, I usually tell school you must have signature programs that they know your school for. When we were growing up, there is a particular that our school was known for there. 2 things: cowbell competition. I was a part of it, up to national level. Cowbell competition. In fact, once they hear our school, everybody just give up that these ones are going to win that competition. Then we usually have what is called the student conference, where we bring a lot of students from other schools. Those are our 2 signature programs. People want to be part of those 2. So your school, you must also look, as you are looking for towards in it, what is one program? Do not take time to build it, make it strong, that they will say, this particular school, this is what they are known for. Then the leadership reacts to problem instead of planning ahead. Those are 10 sign warning signs. Okay, so this is how your diagnosis should look at. I want us to do something very quickly. I just want us to spend like 2 hours. It's almost so that we can allow that to sink in. I want to run a test on your school now. Do a typical test on your school, and then score yourself. Can everybody see my screen? I want to be sure. Can we all see my screen? Can we all see my screen? Oh, okay, good. So I want us to do something. Just if you don't want to put it, what's it called? On the general group, you can private chat me on this message. I want you to score. We just use 2 or 3 minutes to do that. Do like a diagnosis. It's smaller than like I said, I've dropped that diagnosis. What's it called? You can do that one later. Then we can discuss about it. You can reach out to me. But this one now, I want you to do what's it called? A diagnosis. Rate your school in each of this area. Rate your school 1 to 5 and give me your total score. Can we quickly do that now in the next 2 hours? In the next 2 minutes rather. Can we do that in the next 2 minutes? So let me have it. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you. So if you have done it, please kindly drop it on the group, or you give me a private message on this Zoom. So let's hear from you. Let me hear from you. Okay, let me see. Okay, somebody says 21. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Who else? I want us to respond. This is the practical aspects of the. Okay, now let's start turning it in. If you have done it, you can send it 23. Okay, 23. That's good. 21. If you have another person, let's have other people. Please, I want us to be. That's why I dropped that. What's it called, the group? I want us to be as honest as possible. One of the essence of coming to programs like this is that you get to see, so that if there is a need to now look at, okay, how do I get help and the likes. Nobody's above help, and 20. Okay, that's why you do not look at where do I start from here this holiday that we are about to start. You begin to think. Okay, thank you for those feedbacks. Who else have not given their feedback? We've not heard feedback from Mrs. Mujidat, Mrs. Difna, as the case may be. Okay, so now if you look at this, what this will reveal to you is very simple. You reveal 23. Okay, somebody says 23. Thank you for the feedback. What this will reveal to you is simple. It will reveal where you need to work on. For instance, if a part of your school is below 3, 3 is average, and I don't think anybody wants to be average here. So if you are 3 in a particular area, you know that you need to improve. If you are less than 3, you know that you need to really is a weak point that you must work on. If you are 4 in a particular, you need to consolidate. So when it is high, you consolidate. When it is average, you improve. When it is below average, you deliberately design, you redesign. You redesign. So it is important that you we do that. Some schools don't have signature programs. You can come up. We'll talk about that very soon. Now let's look at what will give you a competitive edge. What gives you a competitive edge? Number one, your leadership quality. Like I said, there was a time I was telling. I do ask this question all the time. There are 4 major things you must have as a school. You must have what I call structure, system, strategy, and sustainability. 4. And all of these are based on leadership quality. And part of one of the leadership quality, you must not have you must have what is called your school statement. In your school statement or book or anything, the vision clearly stated, the mission, and I there was a time I did when my first consulting session with a particular school. I did a simple experiment, and I said, "Do you know that this thing is a leadership problem?" What I did was, the first time I went to that school, I went to the proprietor's office, and I said, "Sir, can you tell me the vision of the school, the mission of the school?" To my greatest surprise, even the proprietors do not know the vision of the school. I said, "It's a problem." He said, "Why is it a problem?" I said, "What you cannot even substantiate, how do you transfer?" Then after that, I moved to, we now did another, what's it called? The leadership team. They said they have leadership team. I said, "That's fine. Let the leadership team, each of them, write it out." I didn't so that they will know what's it called. I just say everybody write the word. I put them in a place where they cannot see anything at all. So we now matched it with division. It was not correlating. I said, interesting. And then we went to the teachers, then finally to the students. Then finally I called 2 parents. But by the time I do that, I said, "Sir, this is where we are starting from." Because part of what makes leadership is that people understand exactly what it is you are trying to do. The vision is clear, the mission is clear, the core values are there, the purposes and everything. That's number one. And then part of the leadership quality, what made the leader is that there's also what is called the structure. After there is a statement, there's a structure. Structure is about who is doing what. That's internal competitive advantage. That was why when I mentioned the story of that person, I said we have to set up a team about enrollment. Who is doing what? When a parent wants to ask about a particular school, who answers? When they want to come for tour, and I even told them, but we'll get to that point later on. I told them that you must give room for tour every single month. Your target should be, in terms of numbers, you must get to a point where every month people are coming to make inquiries and they are having experience of the school. You must get to that point. And then, so people understand what needs to be done, because all those things, when you are bringing people and those things are not in place, it will show. And a parent that is very, very observant will observe those loopholes. And that is why it is good to bring people in, but it's better to be able to retain them. If you cannot retain them, that's a problem. And it has to do with the internal competitive advantage, leadership quality. So there's a structure. Everybody knows, and then in that structure, you have a structure that you have a parent structure, you have parent ambassadors, you have parent ESCOs, you have parent volunteers. All of those structures are you have student ambassadors, you have student ESCOs, you have student volunteers, you have alumni body, and all of those things are intact. There is structure. Everybody is doing what they are supposed to do. There's a management team. There's a board of governors. Quality. And then there is, under that quality again, there is what is called system. In system, we call it operations, how things are being done. So there is a standard of operation for everything that has to do with the school. If a parent call for inquiry, I'm just using enrollment. Enrollment is just part of it. If a student, if the parent say A, what would the person, when you say A, what should the person respond to? If I say A, if I'm a parent and I say A, then my standard of operations will tell me that when the third person say A, you say AB. That's standard of operation. So the quality is around everywhere. When I want to make decision about money, when I want to make decision about who goes what, there's a standard procedure. There's a standard of operation. Standard procedure, standard of operation. It's about so that people know exactly what to do. When a parent comes to a school for a first time, after 1 hour you call, after 7 hours you call, after 24 hours you call. Then when the parent say, I want to pay, after payment, what is next? Afterwards you call, what is next? All those are leadership quality. They are under systems. So there must be structure, there must be systems, there must be statement, then there must be what I call strategies. Under leadership quality, there is a blueprint. In the next 5 years, this is what we want our enrollment to look like. In the next 5 years, this is what we want our classes to look like. In the next 5 years, this is what we want our staff structure to look like. This is what we want our facility to look like. And this is how we are going to do it. Everybody understand it. It's a great work, but it's worth it. That is what keeps the school. Then the last one, which is the fifth pillar, is now the sustainability plan. It's a separate plan on its own. How do this school exist in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, in the next 30 days? In fact, a school owner reached out to me, very aged woman. I was telling me that one of the issues she has now is that it was recent. This session now, they want to. She wants to sell the school, and I said, "What's the plan? What's the plan of selling the school?" And she now said, "I should help her with the valuations, and it's part of what we do." Interestingly, when I did the valuation, I said, "Ma, you want me to tell you the truth? As big as this school is, your valuation currently is around 300 million." He said, "No, I've spent more than that on this school. You cannot tell me that." I said, one of the ways I said, if I'm just telling you the truth, one of the ways we value a school is the sustainability plan. Now, as you're leaving this school now, can anybody do what you are doing? Who can do it? I said, so if I'm a buyer, and so I'm placing myself as a buyer now. If I'm a buyer and I come, one of the things I will ask is that who can do what you have done? If I cannot find anybody, if you value that school at 500 million, I will take it to 200 million immediately. Why? Because what you are telling me is that you want me to start from the beginning. That's a work. That's a lot of work. So what are we saying in essence? So you must have all this under leadership quality: your statement, your structure, your system, your strategy, and your sustainability plan. And then I said system. System is how things are being done. Structure is who and who is doing what. And I said in a proper school, forget that your school you are still 15. That's not the point. The point is that everybody, there must be standard of operation. If you want to teach a start class, and I tell people like school, how do you start to teach a class? After 5 minutes, what do you do next? There must be a standard across all board. Does that mean that people will now be innovative? They will be innovative. You give them for innovation. But everybody knows that this is the standard. If I use 40 minutes, this is how I'm supposed to use that 40 minutes. So you must train them. There must be document. What you don't document is not happening. Then the next thing,
Your teacher quality, very important. And then one of the questions I usually get, is almost 2 hours. I can teach. This is something I have passion for. One of the first thing that you also need to work on, teacher quality is important. And that's the truth. And then the question I get is that, what if we don't have teachers? What if they are not coming? And I said, in all sincerity, and I'm talking from the point of view that I also run what's it called, evening schools. I said one of the problems that we have. Somebody said I should go on. We are enjoying the class. I said one of the problems that I usually have is that with school owners is that most of us, we don't see this as a business entity. In business, profit is important, but the profit you are making is not for you immediately. Let me repeat that, and I'm going to say this as simple as it is. The profit you are making as a business entity now, and that is why the most important thing, you must pay yourself from that business. The truth is, if your staff is collecting 40,000, and then, okay, because you are the owner, you are moving up and down the line, okay, you can pay yourself 200,000. After that payment, don't remove anything. It must go directly into improving quality, leadership quality. I tell, engage consultants. I tell school, most of them, they will think, because it is important that people help you build. You have external hands, external head that is helping you to think. Engage professionals, get quality teachers. You are not going to get quality teachers for small money. It's the truth. But in most cases, most school owners, is a two side of the coin. I will explain the second side. Because some persons actually wants to do that, but they don't still have the opportunity to do that. Is the truth. Because the situation is not absolute. Some persons want to do in all sincerity. I've met school owners that say, if I see teachers, I will do. They don't mind. But the teachers are not forthcoming. I will tell you the other side of it. And then some persons, they are spending on the teacher, but the teachers are not serious. They are not doing it. It's also true. Because we have to balance the teaching. Now, the reason why I put that is that in most cases, one of the things you need to do is that you pay yourself from that school. The other was called reinvest it. And why do you? So reinvest it in quality. I remember when I started the EV class, in all sincerity, I'm just sharing my experience now. For the first year, in fact, I was almost crying, but I knew that it was a sacrifice to me. The first, second, third year. Is it first and second? Is it majorly first and second? My target was that I was using 2 teachers per subject. People that know this story can testify to it. I was doing 2 teachers per subject in that my school. Then we have exam preparatory school as well. I will prepare students for exam. We use 2 teachers per subject. And then I pay them what the schools that they are working in cannot pay them. And I'm telling you, I lie not. I'm telling you the truth. If somebody was telling that he wants to resign from the school, that I want to focus on this one alone. This is just a side note. You don't, because what they are getting, what he was getting was times 2 of what they are paying him in school. And I lie not. I'm serious. Because, and one of the things I have now observed, that the kind of dedication the man put in the work is that he's an art teacher. Teaches CRK, he teaches CRK and government. You will get the recordings. He teaches CRK and government. So one of the things he posts so much that year, if I can remember, the second year, if I can remember very well, we had a student that had for JAM exam. We had a student that had 340 something, 350 something. 350 something, if I can remember very well. And then that set, the art student, about 8 people studied law. The result was so marvelous that, and I said, is it? So when people now heard that this thing now, what's it called? People started coming. We started having people. We started having people. And then when I noticed that, of course, the thing has improved, I did something again. I increased their money. But they were shocked. They were shocked. They said, so in fact, most of them were saying, till today, we started 7 years ago. None of them have left. None. Not one person have left. None. And people that I'm saying are master holder, PhD holders. I'm serious. So teacher quality is important if you're good. So if you are, and then you train them. Despite that it's an English school, we have trainings. We have trainings. If you want to spend 1 hour, this is how I want you to spend your 1 hour. If you want to assess, this is how you're supposed to assess. If you want to do this, so that the quality can be all round, so that it should not be this particular teacher that is doing well and this one is not doing well, and it's still affecting the school. So teacher quality is important. Now, after you have done all this, like I said, it's also possible that the environment that you are, there is no teacher. And then in one of the current problem of education are there are no teachers, in all sincerity, apart from the money, the remuneration. And then there was a particular school now, very big school again in Ekiti. And then we talked. So they wanted me to start consulting for the school. And then I had various meetings. I went to train in their school, so I did a training, and then the management team, they loved the training. They wanted me to come back and also wanted me to start consulting from the school. So when I wanted to start the work, I had meetings with the proprietors separate. I had meeting with the management team, the staff, the parents, the students, the prefects, because I told them we are going to change it to Student Representative Council. A lot of changes we are going to put in. And then when I had meeting with management team, they said the school had one of the best. Yes, I'm coming there. I'm coming there. I'm coming there. They said they said what's it called? The school has been the best, one of the best teachers. I said, what happened? They said, one, they felt the remunerations and the likes. The remunerations, what's it called? And I took it. The teachers gave a feedback as well. So I had a discussion with the school now. He said, it's not that he doesn't want to pay. But once you start investing in them now, won't they live and the lives? And I sat him down. I said, sir, this man is old enough to be a father to me. I said, but you employed me as your consultant. So I said, will I tell you the truth? You don't want me to hear the truth, sir. I said, sir, if you don't correct this thing now, you'll be shocked what will happen to your school in the next 5 years. I said, these are the signs you are going to see. And I mentioned 1, 2, 3. He said, how do you know? Did anybody tell you? I said, nobody told me. Nobody told me. But this is what I have done. I have seen it. Hands-on. And then he said, what do you want me to do? I said, sir, against this coming session, let's look at how much, if let's say you have 100% of income. I said, your running cost. I said, why you are going to make profit, because that's one of it. I said, for me, that's where the board comes in. You must have a board to start with. Let them be professionals. And then once in a year, appreciate them. Those are people that will oversee your school. So that that's one of the sustainability plan you must put in place. And then secondly, if you have this social amount coming in, let's invest social amount on the teachers. And let's see what happens. And I said, education has got to the point that people will now weigh their chances. Now, one of our school owners here talk about tech. You know the reason why tech will collect money, your teachers. I teach online, but I'm not. I only have one student currently now, because the consulting work is not allowing me to. But I still wish, because I studied chemistry. I've written textbook on chemistry, so, and I don't want my knowledge. I still want to be relevant, because it's something I enjoy. I still enjoy teaching, despite the fact that I consult. I enjoy teaching. So if I take, I was taking before I left all of these things, and I wanted to start coming back now. If I take a student, I remember a student I was taking in the UK. I collect 150K per month, and then despite the fact my busy schedule, and then I had I had someone then that was collecting 100,000 in 8 places, 800,000. He has 8 students. Fix everything. I have a person currently in non-sincerity. The person is also in school now and he still teaches online. The person makes 2.8 million per month. Now, in non-sincerity, if you want to look at it, and that's why you see most teachers now, they don't even care about schools again. They want to stay on their own. They prefer the comfort of being in the comfort of their house, teach, collect big money. Now, but the funny thing about everything we are now experiencing now is that there is no way some people want to still be leaving their houses. This is what I found out. People want to still be leaving houses and coming to school and using that as another byproduct. Some persons, because the number of students they now have, they felt that they cannot be coming to school again. But some persons, and okay, let me give you an instance. Do you know that the top schools, I have worked with the Waterman College. I've worked with the rain started. Okay, I think I'm back now. Sorry for that. It was my network. Okay, so like I was saying the other time, so tech will collect, and the reason is because they felt, but despite that fact, I see no of a school that has. I happen. I'm back. Can everybody hear me? I'm back. Can everybody hear me? I want to be sure. I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Okay.
can hear you. Go on. We can hear you. Go on. Thank you.
Okay. So like I was saying the other time, the school, there's a particular school in Lekki. The school have operated primary school for 40 years, and then I asked, I won't mention her name, she's a popular, she's a friend to former commissioner for education in Lagos State. She said, number one, I have pension scheme, a contributory pension scheme for my staff, so that by the time they are leaving, you have what's it called? We have cooperative, we have HMO. Now, I usually tell school nurse, it's not necessary that you start everything, but you must have a plan and let the plan be known. It is what people know that they can say, okay, there is hope. It is promise that brings hope. But when there is no plan for it, people lose hope. So what am I saying in essence is that it is important that as school owners, we create emoluments, we create what's it called that make people say they feel like they see a future in teaching. That I can mention Corona schools. I have first-hand information. I have on Griffith. I have on Bloombridge. I have on the Waterman College. I have on the Standard Bearers and all of those things. I can tell you categorically, they have staff that have spent over 35 years in that school. And they do a proper retirement for them. Go and verify. Go and verify anywhere. Why? Because there's a structure on ground that gives those teachers. In fact, in Greensfield currently, they have what's it called? A system where once you are 35, like a government job, you retire. They give you retirement package, a car, a house, and the likes. Now, is it possible your school that is, yes, we understand that your school may not have reached there for now. That is where you have to work on your numbers to become first choice in your community. Because when parents even hear how your teachers are being treated, it's also a factor, teacher quality. So what am I saying is that you might not start with, you can start with as simple as contributory pension scheme, so part of your what's it called, start with a welfare package, start with what's it called, from there, have a plan that in the next 5 to 6 years, my staff would have been enjoying this. After 1 year, you would have been enjoying this. Let there be a clear that that was one of the things I told that man there. Let there be if I want to work with you, let me know that I won't wait 10 years of my life with you for nothing. If I spend 5 years with you, give me a clear picture of what will become of me, because that's what people want. All of us, we are looking for we are all selfish. Is the truth. I'm looking for what will become of me in the next 5 years if I'm working with you. If that thing will not, if I look at it and I notice that the thing will affect me, I won't do. And then when online teaching have now come in, it has now even scattered more because people now say it's better for me to stay at home and 400,000 naira than go to a particular school and earn 50,000 naira. It's the truth. But how do we do this? What we do is that, number one, for those that are struggling with teachers, 2 things you can do. 1, partner with colleges of education, partner with NYSC. I've said it over time. And then let them, of course, your partnership will be that you also give them something. You must really give them something tangible that, okay, I'll be here, supply me with social number of teachers. Partner with NYSC, partner with schools. In fact, should I shock you? I know of a particular school. I was one that I recommended it for that school. I said, go and partner with universities. It's happening, but it's not something that is publicized. Say, I want my admission rate to be 100% or 90-something%. Partner with 4 major universities and tell them, my student will be applying to your school. I know of it. I won't mention the words, but they were applying to your school. Give them admission. It's partnership. It's not Wayo, it's partnership. Then partner with industry that your school will be supplying them with students. Partner with foundations that when these are some of the things that elevates your school. When a parent know that in my school, if my child, let that company come and give scholarship to the best students. Then in return, tell them that the best student will work in their company. Now let's assume you are the parent, and you understand that accommodation. I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. When let's look at this scenario. If I am a parent, for instance, and I know that if I bring my child to your school, if I bring my child to your school, my child, if he's brilliant, and I work on him very well, my own part is that I want to work on my child so I can be top. And you tell me that the top 10 students will get scholarship. A particular school, I won't mention that school, did it just yesterday. I was reading their website. They have top 3 students that got scholarship to international universities. You think if I'm a parent, if I don't have the money, I'll not go and borrow and make sure that my child go to that particular school? With the answer that just become the best, you have entered good life. You are going abroad immediately. And then the interesting part, the interesting part of this is that you now say, is it the school that is funding their fee? No, they partner with that, what's it called? So what they do in partnership is that if I have Kent University in England, for instance, and I say, Kent University, I want you to give me 2 full scholarship. I will give and give me 5 half scholarship, and I will supply my student to come to your school. 10 of my students, if I have 30 students that are in SS3, give me 2 free scholarship. Give me 10 half scholarship. Other 20 will come to your school. They were going to agree to that partnership because they know that the partnership they have built is that all their students, they are coming to our school. That's what international school does. So forge that partnership. Then let industry partner with your, what's it called? For those that are having secondary school, even primary school, if a child is very bright, partner with, if you have people that are leverage on the opportunities on people, if you have people that are doing well in the US, in the what's it called, use that. That's how to grow your school. That's how to make, that's what is called competitive edge. See, that's what is called competitive edge, though, because other schools, what you are doing, they are doing it. So the first thing you're going to be thinking is that, what can I do to surpass these people? If you have leverage of people, you know, people that are in the US and the likes, work with them, call it Kinikon scholarship. If the child is super good, if that child is good, they let them get scholarship. I can bet you there is no parent that will not want to watch. If I'm a parent, I will, even if I don't have the money, I'll bring my so that if I train my child very well, my target is that he will be able to win scholarship. Now, back to the teacher quality we are talking about. Now, I have said this, that one, you can partner with NYC, and somebody was saying that accommodation, in all sincerity, what NYC, that's their own policy. That's a one method. You can decide not to use that because currently, I think for those that are doing NCE, they are not regularizing them already unless you do BEd for NYC. So when NCE students finish, they just look for what's it called. You can partner with colleges of education, Department of, so go to that school and tell them, I want such number of teachers to be supplied to be coming to my school. I taught school now to do this, and they are doing it. Colleges of education. So give me this social number. In return, I will give you this. Nothing go for nothing. You know? So they are going to give me your best. They are going to say, this person was the top 5 in this class. And then, of course, before you can do that, there must be condition. They will ask you, what are your working conditions? I'm just teaching you how you won't look for teachers. But there are some schools where all these there are not teachers for madam. It's not their concern. I know schools that they've never lacked teachers for once. Just once. Because at the end of new what's called, they have a system. If a teacher is going, you notify at least 6 months. So they have what is called recruitment planning stage, where they plan their recruitment. Before everybody starts recruiting in this August, they've recruited in April. Like I said, you have to be intentional to design your school. I know of a school where if you observe very well, some schools have recruited. So those persons are just waiting for the session to end before they move to that school. Is it true? So that they have what is called we call it we call it workforce audit. Who and who do we need? Who and who are going? Who and who are staying? And so on. Some people will not say. Some teachers will not tell us when they are going. It's because there are no standard of operation. If you recruit your teachers, there's an education law that most owners don't know. You have to go and study the education bylaws. It's a serious business. This school business is a serious business. If you study it, one of the things is say that if the teacher goes, most people don't know the law. If a teacher must go by approval, that means you must have notified the school. It must be part of the employment letter you are going to give them, and the standard of operation and the ethics and code. If anybody does not what's called, you are liable to charge them to court. They will pay for damages. They will return on what's called. Nobody wants to do that. Let it be very clear from the beginning. So if a person now goes, you cannot say they should not go. Okay, somebody is saying they may not give. I'm coming to that. I'm coming. I don't want us to dwell on the teacher quality that much, but we are into consulting. We know how we do it, and then some of the schools I've worked with, they never lack teachers. In all sincerity, so what am I saying in essence that the quality of teaching is important in your school. Now, is that dearth of teachers? Yes, there is the what's it called is getting low. We cannot deny that fact. Unless we want to be sweet talking ourselves, is the truth. However, like I said, the truth of the matter is that some schools, and that's why all these things we're talking about is relative. If you are saying there are no teachers, that means that the ones that are available, some people are getting them. And the reason they are getting them is because of, number one, how they are treating them and the system and structures in place. That I want us to balance it. So when we are saying this, for instance, people will say Nigeria is suffering. It's a relative statement. There are statements that are relative. Why? Because in that suffering, some people are still enjoying. Eating 3 meals quite a day. So when we are talking about what's called, we look at absolute, not a relative statement. So in essence, what we are trying to say is that teacher quality is important, and then there are ways to, for NCEs, for core member, what's it called? But what we are also doing to attract them through that method, or whether university graduates or whatever method you want to use, you can also use recruiting agencies. It's because the way the schooling is in Nigeria, normally schools should recruit through agencies. In standard countries, you recruit through either the government recruits or you recruit through agencies. Go and check what happens in UK. You don't just say, no, they pass through agencies. Why? I had a lady then from Sierra Leone. I want to remember her name. He had an organization called Work Ready Africa. I told her, Africa is still not, but we are going to get there. She said one of our goals is to see that they prepare young graduates for workforce, for workplace. But the thing was not moving much. I said because people just recruit anyhow in Africa. In global countries, you can't see it like that. Now we look at First Bank, all these corporate organizations, they don't lack what's it called. Why? Because there are different pathways. They don't focus on one. They have direct recruitment. That's number one. They have graduate training program. That's number two. They have other methods. So there are different channels they use to get people into their organization. They don't focus on one. And then at the same time, there is a standard of operation that occurs. If you want to be a graduate trainee, you spend 3 years. After, if you want to leave the bank, you notify 6 months. All of those 6 months be in place, and then the emoluments and the experience of those people must also be intact. So you must do your part so that you can see the results. That's what I'm saying. So teacher quality important, school culture, then innovation. One of the things that keeps a school going is innovation. Willingness to try new methods and technologies. There was a question I asked a particular school, and I was like, "Ma, have you in the last 2 years, what innovations have entered in your school?" He said, "We bought." I said, "I'm not talking about facilities. I'm talking of innovation. There's a difference. If you buy what's it called, and they are not using it, is that innovation?" I said, let's start with teaching, for instance. How has it been? I now look at the way they were teaching. It was also this way. You have learning management system. And then again, in terms of quality teacher, AI, so we are in the era of AI. I know of a particular learning management system now, AI powered, called Gmind AI. Interestingly enough, when I interacted with them, one of the things we found out was that the technology allows you that your best teachers, you can record their lessons. They can record their lessons. They can do a lot of things. Even when they leave, it will still be as if they are available. there are simulations to them. So technology has made this so important. So what's it called? Okay, so like I was saying the other time, so that the innovations in your school, why are you bringing innovations to leadership? But how do they report? If you have been reporting with paper and pen, what the new innovations have come in? How are they reporting now? If they have been teaching with chalk and paper, with chalk and what's it called? How are they teaching now? For instance, I was telling I was telling a school owner the other time that if nothing new enter your school is not growing, you know. Because if they have been reporting, if they have been doing exam with paper and pen, have they moved to CBT? If you have been doing on-site class, have you gone to blended learning? Have you done virtual learning? So every single year, my recommendations is at least every single year, your what's it called should be at least so it depends on how well you are introducing what's it called. So strong system and student alcohol. Let me move to external competitive advantage. External competitive advantage. Number one is brand reputation. Your brand reputation, how people can describe it. Like I told you, run a survey, you can get to find out how people describe you. You look at your partnerships. I've talked about a lot of partnership. Work with businesses. If you start introducing some of these things, you will see how your numbers will start increasing. For instance, I am not of the opinion that summer classes you come and teach. In fact, I can't tell you categorically. If I have a school that I can't even consult for a school, and you tell me your summer class, you come and be teaching maths and English again. I can't work with you. I always sit down and talk about it because they have thought about A, B, and C since for 3 solid terms. So let's look at let's partner. Let's partner with STEM organization. Let them do STEAM. Let them do skill. Let's partner with skill organization. Let them train them on skills. Let's partner with businesses. Let them go for internships with businesses. So design partnerships, and this holiday they use it judiciously. As I speak with you currently, there is a particular school where all the students from year 11, year 10, SS1, SS2, and those that are going to SS3, those that are going to what's it called, you are to find what's it called. They are going to get a company, because by that time they would have known, especially for year 11 and 12, they would have known the department that you are and the course. There is a system in place that this is the course we are looking at. So the course that you are looking at, you go for internship, you go for what's it called, you work there. All these 7 weeks, you work there 4 or 5 weeks. You come and present. Then they also attach you with a particular mentor. Now tell me, that particular child with that level of partnership has advantage than the student in your own school, because they are not on the same level. The experience that one has is different from the school, from the one that your own school is having. So build partnerships for have signature programs, and then partner with Indomie. Indomie partner with a lot of school to do Indomie experience. Partner with Indomie. Partner with foundations. Partner with individuals. So that so again, digital presence. This like I said, digital footprint is very important now. So every school must be content creators. It's not by choice. It's not by chance now. It must be by choice. Because the more people know you, the more likely they are going to find you. And then if you say, we are offering quality education is good, like I said, but we are dealing with a business. Quality education is one aspect of that business. We call it the community entity or the impact entity. The business entity requires that people must see you so that they can patronize you. So intentionally this holiday, design digital presence. Google Business, be on Google Business, so that when they find you on Google, they see you there. If possible, in fact, I know of a particular school now that have done Wikipedia. They pay Wikipedia, put us on your Wikipedia. So when they type the school, it bring up. So any school that is on Wikipedia, for instance, if you want to find the name of a great person, when you type them on Google, it brings out Wikipedia, it brings out their social media platform, brings out a lot of things. Then you know that this person is a serious person. So go and work on that. List on Google Business. Have a strong email list. Have a strong social media presence. When you do, there was a time I introduced in one of the schools I consult for. We introduced innovation week. All the students in a year, you have something. You have an innovation, whether you are commercial, whether you are science, even in primary school, especially for primary 4, 5, 6, you have something you are going to work on. And then during that innovation week, you are going to present them. The parents will invite parents, government officials, they start coming in. It was a wonderful experience. Those ones capture it, tell a story about it. And I even told that school now, then every single time, have what is called the impact stories. Talk about what happened the whole of the time. In just 5 minutes, how a student that cannot read start reading, show it. People only trust what they see. Don't assume that people know. Don't assume that because you are doing quality, you are trusting God. Yes, it's good to trust God, but this is business. Then, apart from digital presence, you look at your parent trust. How do you gain parent trust? If they say something and they meet it there, through parent experience. Like I said, we've talked about parents' journey into your school. Then you must also design another journey when they start with your school. How do you give them feedback? How do you communicate with them? You must have plan for each parent. What you are going to use each parent for. Referral system. Have a referral system. If you bring this, you bring this. Have parents ambassador. Have parents. Have plan for each of the parents. Let them be valuable. Let them be part of that school. You must turn customers to family, and that's why you see some family. All their children will go to a particular school. That one is not customer again. They have become family. They call it family school. Like you have family hospital. Even if the person want to die, they take it to that hospital. That hospital has become that family hospital. In fact, if care is not taken, the grandchildren they will go to that hospital as well. That's how it is. It's because they have identified with that particular school or what's it called, and they have seen it as their family, what's it called. It have become part of them. Then community reputation, like I said. Don't forget, our focus is on becoming the first choice. If people don't know your school, and like I said, run a survey. I've mentioned it. If you run a survey and in 100 people, only 20 people know your school, there's a problem. You are not running a school yet. So you must have community reputation. And how do you do that? What are you doing to the community? What are your students doing? One of the recommendations I usually give is that have programs that brings the community together, all parents together in the community, or some certain set of people. Be known for something. Do something that brings everybody together. We know that school, that's where we usually go to do this particular thing every year. Let them know you for that. Go for community competition. That school, anything that has to do with competition in our school, that's how they do. Their community impact. I know of a particular school, very big international school. All the SS3 students, you must do a community impact project. Is that do it is as group or what's it called? Corona does this very well. All the SS3 students. Why? Because they want you to have what's it called? It's not about education alone. You must learn to give back to your community. Give back to your community. That school. Their students, they are the one that clean community day. They have community service day. The SSC now do community impact projects. Community service day, that is a one day in a year that the students enter the community. They can do work, they can do sensitization, they can do what's it called. Let people feel your presence in that community. And then the last one is on alumni success stories. Under your alumni success story, you must be able to tell. Under your alumni success story, you must be able to tell that story so much that so person graduated from our school, and this is how this is what has become of him. This is person graduated from our school. Run that story. How even it's a primary school, how the person is now doing in the secondary school. Run that. Let people know. Tell your story. Then tell the story of how the term went. Let parents give feedback. Let parents give feedback of how the term went. Let students talk about their experience. All of those things are important. Okay, so this is the competitive advantage you can have. Like I said, is usually a 3-day webinar. Now, having said that, what are the areas you must strengthen now? I'm just trying to round up now. Strengthen your structure and governance, your system and operation, your signature program, your brand and visibility, your parent journey, your community impact, your strategic partnership, and your learning transformation. These are the 8 strategic areas, like I promised in the what's it called, and that I'm going to teach you. These are the 8. Somebody said, I'm going to answer all of these questions. These are the 8 areas you are going to focus on. These are the 8 areas you are going to focus on that you must strengthen so that you can become the top in your community. Your structure and governance, leadership system. You have a leadership management system. You have a board. You have other structure, form teachers. All of those structures, form teachers, departments, subjects, coordinators, form coordinators, and all of those things. You must strengthen them. There must be structure. There must be governance. There must be systems. There must be operations. Who does what and how it's being done? What are the things? What are the guidelines to do? If I want to make a phone call, how do I make that phone call? What will I say? All of those things must be there. The signature program. What is my school wants to be known for? What competition are we going to attend? Are we going to put our effort in and become top? What programs are we going to do in our own school that makes us stand out? Are we going to celebrate Mandela Day? Are we going to celebrate Africa Day? Are we going to celebrate this that makes our school stand out? A career, what's it called? What are we going to do? So most of the time, then what extracurricular? When I now say programs, we have a curricular, co-curricular, and extracurricular programs. All of this must be strengthened. Your co-curricular programs has to do with something that support the curricular, field trips, excursions, internships, and so on. They are co-curricular. Extracurricular programs are the program outside in terms of sports, in terms of school program itself that it has, and so on. You must structure. Then branding and visibility, how people see you, your parents' journey, your community impact. What impact do you want to make? Are you going to do free eye tests for everybody in the community? Want to do what's it called? Then are you going to do cleaning day, sanitation day, community impact project, and so on? Think of something to give back to the community. Let people in the community be talking about you, and that's the essence. Let them talk about you. Then strategic partnership. Which foundation are you partnering with? Which company or businesses are you partnering with? Which individual are you partnering with? And then your learning transformation. And all of those things are what you have to put in place. The structure and governance, your mission, your core values and the likes, your system, your admission. How does your admission look like? If I'm coming, if the person inquire, who will respond? Then after response, what is the tour? How many times you want to be doing tour? So how is your admission like? Then how do you do onboarding? When the person has said, I want to come to your school, do you do parent onboarding? Do you do staff onboarding? Do you do student onboarding and so on? Then all your admission process, how people enter your organization, there must be processes to it. Who does what? How is it being done? Then our finance, who makes financial decision? Then at one point, a teacher will be able to make financial decision. All of this is well documented. Then your human resources, your academic system, your technology, your quality assurance, and so on. All of this must be in place. Then your signature programs. Are you doing literacy program, entrepreneurship, STEAM, leadership, and all of those things like that? What programs separate you? Like I said, these are sports and the likes. You have curricular, you have co-curricular, and then you have extracurricular. All of this must be well designed. Then your branding and visibility, your school identity, what people know you for, storytelling, how you are sharing your story with the community, your social media platform, your website, your videos, your testimonials, and open days. All of these are part of it. Then number 5 is your parents' journey. Inquiry, visit, admission, orientation, communication, engagement, feedback, retention. All of this must be well designed. Now, having said that, your community impacts, like I've said, community projects, scholarship, health campaigns, educational outreach, free seminar, student service projects. Under strategic partnerships, your partner with university, like I said, I've explained all of those things. Where I will give you, they will say, if your child go to that school, admission is sorted. So all of those things, businesses with NGOs, tech companies, and so on. And then the last one is your learning environment, your physical learning, your blended learning, and your virtual learning. Like I was telling someone the other time that all these learning environments must be struck. You must, in fact, starting from next week, you must start it. Your physical learning environment, very important. Work on it, the decoration, the aesthetics, what is there, what is how it is and life. But more importantly, what is being learnt in that classroom environment, very important. Then going forward, you must now combine classroom teaching with digital tools. I have a school now that I recommend, and they've started it. They sometimes they have exchange programs. They connect with classes in UK, in Brazil, and the likes, so that they have they discuss a primary 2 class in Nigeria collaborating with the primary 2 class in Brazil. That's blended learning. That's a connected classroom. Then at the same time, a classroom teacher is teaching. Then at one point, the students are also using technology tools. That's blended learning. Then virtual learning. You must also have a space for virtual learning in your school. It's not every time. Like for instance, this holiday now, I suggested it to a particular school now. Let's introduce virtual learning so that students can start learning from what's it called. So all this learning environment must be well curated in your school. My final words, we spent almost 2.5 hours. Interesting. Don't compete, differentiate. That's one of my advice. You differentiate. Let your school be distinct from other school. This is what, and then like from everything we have said, pick out things that differentiate your school from another school. Design, draw out things. Okay, how will my school start getting different? Then deliver an exceptional parent experience, create signature program, build a powerful school brand, invest in people before building, use data to drive improvement. Like I usually say, without data, you cannot design. Data is a precursor to design, and design is the precursor to development. What you don't design cannot develop. So everything we have said, how learning should be you must intentionally design it. How parents should experience, you must intentionally design it, and all of those things. So, but you need data to be able to design. So, for instance, you must be able to know that in 2024, 50 people enroll, 5 people left. In 2025, this. So all those information, very important. How many competitions you win? How many did you win? Why did you not win? How many people are in your school? How many parents did you communicate with? What's the frequency of communication? And all of those things. Pour information in numbers. As a business owner, you are dealing with numbers. Your numbers must be very clean and clear and concise. Then, of course, the next thing is that you become the community education hub, offer parenting seminars, competition, the teacher development program, and so on. And of course, build a structure of continuous innovation. So that is all we are going to do today. Time would not have permitted us. It was supposed to be just 1 hour. We have spent about 2.5 hours, and I hope you really enjoy and you are be able to pick a lot of things from the session. So now let me open the floor now for questions. If you have questions, let's have you ask your questions now as we round up in today's class. Are there questions that we want to ask? Questions. Do you have questions? I would love to hear our feedback. Okay. If there are no questions, I can get feedback. So can we have feedback from the participants? Do we have anybody that want to give us feedback? Feedback. You want to tell us what you've learned, some of the things you have identified, some of the things you are going to work on, and the likes. We have about the next 5 minutes to do that. If there are questions, let us know. If there are feedback, let us know. Is there a question from anybody at all? Okay, do we have feedback? I want us to have feedback. I want to know, did we learn something? Yes, of course. I'm going to draw the slide for us. I'm also going to draw the. I'm going to also drop the recordings so that if you want to go over it again, so that you can scribble whatever you want to scribble down. And the idea is that now that you are going on holiday, you can sit down. I've really given us something to sit down and work with. And then as you plan for the new session. And then, like I promised, I'm going to also drop your checklist for new session. Your checklist, some of the things, from what I've said, I've created a checklist for us. So that checklist, you can use it to look at, from what this person have said, which one have I done, which one have I done. So you now start checking it one by one. So I'm going to drop that checklist for us. I'm going to draw diagnosis, how you can diagnose your school. Or do I have it? Do I not have this and the likes? Then I'm going to also drop this one for us as well. Okay. I want 1 or 2 persons to unmute and just give me feedback of how the session have been, what I have learned, and so on. I usually love to get feedback. How has it been, and so on. Do we have any volunteer that wants to do that for us? Any volunteer that wants to do that for us? I would love. Does that mean we did not gain anything?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear
hello,
me? Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. First and foremost, I don't even know where to start from. Even though I didn't join this session from the beginning, but honestly, this has been a fantastic session because the speaker said so much. That is, personally, I don't know about others, but personally, I have learned so many things I didn't even, think about. So there's a lot of food for thought. Even though, like, I kept on, writing on the chat area.
Yes, I observed
things that I observed, like, when you were talking about community, helping the community, going out. Nigeria of today now, look at how kidnapping, look at what happened to your state or your children. And,
Yes.
So
I
those
understand.
things are wonderful, but some of them are difficult to do because of the state of the nation currently. But having said that, there are so many things, we all school owners need to go back to the drawing board. In fact, the question I have is to throw more light on there's something signature program. I didn't get
signature program.
Yes, I don't know what a signature program is.
Okay.
But,
I'll quickly talk about it. So that you can have a clear picture. So for signature program, when we say what your school, a program that your school do that in that community, only your school does it. That's your signature program. For instance, one of the schools that I consult for, when we talk about signature program, we said we are going to create one per term. They said they have a lot of programs. I said no, we are not going to do a lot of programs. Let's start with one per term. And then we now have one that is ultimate, making 4. Now in the first term, they usually do what is called club day. In all of the environment, they are the only one that does the club day. Why? Because each of the students are in different clubs, literary and debating club, farmers club, and all of those. So each of the clubs, they have presentations. They have what's it called? They have a lot of things that they want to. They have exhibitions and the likes. So that's one. Then in the second term, they do what is called Innovation Week. But at the end of one of the things you are going to do in the holiday is that you look at everything you have learned over. We call it reflection. In fact, we have a part of the academic signature program. We call it reflection classes and reflection booklet. In that reflection, you reflect on everything you have learned. It's part of. I designed a model which I call KESR plus model of learning. I developed it. I think it's on Google now currently. Now, one of the things I did in that model is that I said learning does not stop with knowledge, attitude, skill, experience alone. The last phase of learning is reflection. Why? Because if you don't reflect on what you have learned, you can't learn from what you have learned. It's the truth. So because it's in this part of the world, we don't do a lot of reflection. Everybody just learn or sleep and wake up. The next day you just be. But at the end of each day, you take 10 to 15 minutes. What have I even done this day, today? How did my day went? What went wrong? What went right? How do I improve it? The same thing happens with learning. A student must have the time to reflect on the learning. Have I really learned? So from there, one of the things we now designed was that let the student have every 10 minutes before closing, they have a reflection time. Then they have a reflection journal. Each student in that school have a reflection journal where they journal, and it's part of their continuous assessment. Because you want it to be somebody that reflects on what you do. Now, from all of your reflection that you have done, at the end of the academic year, you now go and make, okay, this is what I've been able to learn. From this, what I've learned, this is the solution, this is the problem I have identified, and I want to create a solution for it. So they go back during the holiday, long holiday. By the time they are coming back, they are coming with, what solution are you going to be bringing? So you now start working on your solutions. If there need for support. So during the second time, they now have what is called Innovation Week. What they do in Innovation Week, you present, you come up with your innovations, whether you are a commercial student, whether you are a art student, whatever student you are, whether you're even primary student, everybody has one or two things to do. So they have that one as part of their second term. And then in the third term, they have another program, I can't remember, that they do. So all of those things is not common within that vicinity. Nobody does Innovation Week in that vicinity. Nobody does Club Day. For the community, they do community health program. The school itself organizes free community health program. Those are signature program. What they do is that they announce you. They set you apart. That this school, if you hear of this particular thing, you said so you know there are some schools that if you hear of a particular program, you attribute it to that school, that signature. What your school, what program your school is known for. For instance, look at brands as well. Kalbe will do Kalbepedia. MTN will do Spark or what's it called. So those are signature programs that is only your organization that is known for it. So I hope I've been able to answer that.
Yes, but please, what did you say? You said second term is innovation. They do innovation week.
Yes,
What did they do in first? What did they do in first
yes, it's
term?
just for that
First term.
school. Is what I designed for that school. It may not, you may do for another. Your own may be different. There are a lot of signature programs. We
But what did
can
they
reach
do
out to me.
in first term? What did they do in first term?
In first time they do. I mentioned it the other time. Club day.
Okay, club day.
They do club day in the first term. So innovation week and so on. There are a lot of programs. So before we pick a particular program, we usually look at that's where consulting comes in now. Before we pick a particular program, we usually look at the environment. What are the type of parents? I was discussing with a school currently. I said, if you are bringing anything, you must look at your environment and the type of parents you have. For instance, if we have 5 categories of parents, I've explained that in one of the course I created. So there are parents that they one of their core strengths is the value skill above intellectual capacity. So in that if you have studied that your parent in that line, if you are bringing skill-based program, they will appreciate it. And that's why a lot of school now will say, this is parents are not even appreciating it. It's because you've not studied the same thing happening to Nigeria. We just bring a lot of things. We've not studied what is working in our own context. Because UK is doing it, we want to do it. No, it's different. Context and concept are important. Concept is good, but it must be in the context. And the content is also important. So we'll get to, we can reach out to me on that so we can discuss that. So is there another feedback? Somebody said your program your class is always interesting. Thank you so much for this teaching. I really appreciate everyone. Is there another feedback that somebody wants to talk to us? Can I get another feedback from you?
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
My name is Deborah, all the way from Uganda in East Africa.
Okay. Thank you.
I am excited for the time we've had. I think I've learned about 3 very important things. The first is the balance between quality education and profit. For many years, I thought it was important to give quality, and I forgot about the profit margin. And so it has disturbed me a lot, but I'm learning that I should think about the numbers and going forward. It's not just about quality. And then I realized that many times we think we are competing with people, but I think I've learned that we should differentiate and not compete. So I think we are going to work on that a lot. Yeah,
differentiation. I love that.
Yes, and then finally, I have a teacher that has been with me for about 13 years, and I asked myself, what happens to this teacher after they have left me? So I have learned also about the welfare program, that in the event that this teacher leaves, they should have something tangible they are going to live with after they have left me. And of course, finally, the digital footprint is very important. Many people know about my school, but on social media in my area, the footprint is really, really, really poor. So I think I'll work on that. So thank you so much for everything that you have done for us this evening.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. So you made my day today. God bless you. So now on that teacher, what's it called? Like I said, in your school is not too small to have career pathway for your teachers. Show them that you really plan for them. Loyalty is earned. I tell people this. You cannot tell me to stay with you when I don't know my future. So I usually put myself, if you tell me that if you stay with me for 5 years, this is what will become of you, and I can see it, I will stay with you. What everybody wants is they are looking at the future. What will become of me? Even the parents that are coming to your school, what will become of my child if I put this person here? What will it become? So I've been said in the next 6 years, how will this child look like? Will it be skilled? Will it be experienced? Will it be exposed? Will it be educated? And so on. So so it helps us to have an holistic view so we can design something powerful. So I'm glad that you can you have learned so much. So thank you so much, everybody, for sometimes when I teach like this, people don't want me to go. It's always we are almost spending 3 hours already. Thank you so much, everybody. I really hope that much more importantly is that we are able to